Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm kind of here just to kind of tell you about dealing and living with a stroke. Dealing with it before, during, and after, and how you basically cope with it, and to kind of tell you my testimony as well. Because as you can see, I'm young. So when I hear of strokes, I think of the older generation, 50 or above, not 50 or below. I've never thought of it like that. And I'm 28. So when I heard that I suffered a stroke, I'm thinking people are crazy. Because the hospital said I had a stroke. My mom and dad said I had a stroke. And I'm thinking, they're absolutely crazy. But it happened. So I suffered a right-sided hemorrhagic cerebral stroke. And my right side is my dominant side. Yeah, my dominant side. Hemorrhagic, there's two types of strokes. Ischemic, I probably totally mispronounced it. I do apologize. That is about, don't quote me on this, I think like 83%. It's more common, I should say. It's a more common kind of stroke than a hemorrhagic stroke. Hemorrhagic, I believe, is about like 13 or so. It's rare. And those numbers are, I read them on strokeinformation.com, but I could be totally wrong because I don't know. But anyways, in the cerebral, controls your balance and coordination. Yeah. So when I knew that I was having I honestly, I didn't know I was having a stroke. I had no idea. Because it was a typical day, and I was at my job, and I'm a teacher. Well, I was a teacher, and everything was fine. It was a regular day, and I had dinner, and then I went to boat choir at my church. And then I went to my apartment, which is on the 3rd story. And I took a shower. Well, during that shower, I had a huge ringing in my ear. And usually with that, I think, oh, it's no big deal. It's sinuses. Yeah, no big, happens all the time. But this ringing was really, really strong. And it hurt. And usually the ringing never hurts. So I'm like, this is kind of weird. And as soon as I got out of the shower, I fell. Because I couldn't walk. Like, my entire right side was completely like, I couldn't really feel it. I could kind of feel it, but I felt like it was more paralyzed than everything else. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So I started instantly crying because I can barely walk. And it's not, okay, my right side was not paralyzed, but it was pretty bad. So thankfully, my phone was on in the bathroom. So I called my parents with my right hand. Because it's my right hand, it's my dominant side. So that took a little, it was hard. I could do it, but it was very, very difficult. And I knew something was going on because me not being able to use my right side is like, what's going on? Something serious is going on because it's my dominant side. So I call my home, my mom answers, and I'm crying because my head is throbbing, the ringing in my ear was kind of hurting, and my entire right side was not paralyzed, but, it hurt. Like, I couldn't move it. I don't know how to describe it. So I call them, and I'm like very confused and very scared because I'm like, what is going on? So I'm thinking maybe I'm sick or something. I don't know. And as I'm calling her, I'm also throwing up. And me, I hate throwing up. I hate it. That's like, if I can do anything to avoid throwing up, I'm going to do it because I hate it. It's the worst thing ever. I'll do anything and everything to avoid it. I don't like it at all. But I couldn't control it at all. Like, I would try, but I couldn't. Like, it would just come. So I knew something was wrong. So I'm thinking I'm just really, really sick or something. But the right-sidedness, that scared me. So anyways, my mom was like, should I call 911? I said, yes, please call 911. So she did. And as I hung up with her, and I'm still crying because I'm very confused and I'm throwing up like crazy. And I try and go to my bed, and I feel like I'm super drunk because I can get to my bed, but I'm very sidestepped, like wibbly wobbly. I don't know how to describe it, but I felt like I was super drunk because I couldn't control myself. I was zigzagging all over the place. I couldn't walk a straight line to save my life. I couldn't. I just couldn't. So, got a shirt on, which was good. A few minutes later, they came with the paramedics. Like, it was my mom and dad, and then the paramedics, and that was great. And I'm still crying because I don't know what the hell is going on. At this point in time, I'm like, stroke is beyond. I'm not even thinking stroke. I'm thinking I'm super sick, like something is wrong. But I'm so confused and scared because I don't know what is going on. So they get me, and luckily I had a police officer right across my apartment living there. So that was good. She came because she heard a lot of commotion. She was like, what's going on? And with the paramedics, she helped me stand up because, again, I couldn't walk. So think about it. Going down 3 flights of stairs, that was hard. But I had one paramedic on my left side, and I had her on my right side. And I told her that I can't control my right side. And they became very concerned for my well-being. So the police officer is great. She wanted to make sure I was okay. So as soon as I, was better, I would text her, call her, whatever, because she was concerned, which is good. So I got in the ambulance, and my head is still throbbing. Like, it's so throbbing. I get to the hospital, and they immediately think of 2 things. One, I'm just really, really sick, which I think I'm really, really sick too. Or I'm on drugs. And I'm thinking, I've never taken anything illegal in my life. So I'm like, what? No. Like, I even told them I've never been on anything illegal ever. Like, the thought of me being on drugs is absolutely crazy. So they said, well, maybe you're just really, really sick. But they were still checking me out. So I got into bed, and that was good, but the light hurt. So I'm thinking, in my head, I'm thinking, maybe it's a migraine. Maybe the headache is just so powerful, the light really hurt me. I don't know. I'm just thinking, I'm trying to think of logistics here. I'm trying to think logically. Because again, stroke, not happening. So after I get onto the bed, I think I passed out. I don't know, because apparently I got a CT scan. I don't know how that happened. But I did get a CT scan. They didn't find anything. But then I woke up, and then I had to go to the restroom. And as I was going to the restroom, I had a nurse, and I still couldn't walk. Like, that was just gone. Because I couldn't control it. And I'm like, something is seriously wrong. So finally they thought maybe a stroke. And I'm like, what? That's just, no. Like, that's not happening. Like, that couldn't have happened. No. That's like the last thing that would ever happen. I'm still thinking I'm just really sick. I'm not thinking of stroke. But the hospital is like, maybe, it's a possibility. But because you can't control your right side, because they asked me a lot of questions, and I can't even begin to tell you what they asked me. I have no idea. They got in touch with St. Luke's. They called them. They called the neurology department. They said that I can't control my right side. I can't walk. So immediately they said, bring her in. So I went to another ambulance to St. Luke's. And I remember going in a bed. And I remember the light was still blinding me. Like, it just hurt so much, so bad, that I had a jacket and I had to, shield my eyes because it hurt so much. And that's all I remember, because I passed out. Apparently, I did suffer a stroke. They found, because after they did an MRI. And an MRI is better than a CT scan because an MRI can tell if you suffered a stroke or not. I didn't realize this. I did a lot of research afterwards. Long time ago, like maybe like last week. So apparently the MRI showed that I had a stroke in my cerebellum. And they instantly removed it. They did a craniotomy. And that was absolutely crazy. So I had a 10-inch scar from about right there all the way down past my neck. To right there. And they opened me up, apparently. I don't know, I was totally asleep. And they found, the affected area, so they took that out. But they also took out a little bit of my brain because it was dead tissue. And so a little bit of my brain, about probably that much, is at St. Luke's right now. So half of my, this much of my brain is missing. That's a little weird. It's kind of crazy that some of my brain is missing. I'm just like, it's weird. So they got me out of surgery, and I think I was out for a good day. Honestly, I have no idea. I really don't. But I remember waking up in the bed, I had a huge tube in my mouth. I guess, not a breathing tube, but I just remember a huge tube in my mouth. I don't know what they call it. I don't know. And touch. Touch was the biggest thing that I needed. And I held my mom and dad's hand, and I held my god family. My god family came, and they came immediately because mom and dad called them, and they came. And I remember I woke up. It was at night, and I remember my god sister was there, and I held her hand like crazy because I could feel it. I think I could be totally wrong here. I think I held the hand in my left side, on my left hand, because with my right hand I couldn't control it as much. So I think with my left hand, I don't know. But she told me a story, and she's crying, and I'm like, why is everyone crying? And I'm thinking, I'm very confused because I'm drowsy, I'm sleepy, I don't know what the hell is happening. I'm very confused at this point, but I'm alive. That's all I know. And touch. That was the biggest thing. Touch, and I'm alive. I'm like, all right, cool. We're good. So, passed out again. And I woke up, I guess, the next day. It was light. And I was more focused a little bit. I was like, basically, what the hell happened? And my mom and dad were there. They could tell that I was still really out of it. But I was adjusting a little bit more. I was coming out of the dizziness and the sleepiness. So they said from the hospital that I suffered a stroke. And I'm like, in my head I'm thinking, seriously? I'm too young for that. But it happened. So I don't know. That's all I remember. So I stayed in the hospital for about 2 months. Throughout that time, I spent 7 days in the ICU, and just to get reattached to basically everything, because at this point I couldn't walk. So I think the third day, I believe, I sat in the chair, and that took a lot out of me because I was so tired. But from the bed to the chair, I could move. That was amazing. And the ICU nurses were amazing, absolutely amazing. So from the ICU, I went to rehab. And in rehab, I had OT, which is occupational therapy. I had PT, which is physical therapy. And then I had speech, because my speech was a little bit, it wasn't damaged, but I slurred a lot. And there were some things that I couldn't really pronounce because I was still thinking about it. So throughout that time at St. Luke's, with PT, they helped me with walking because I couldn't do it at all. So you know how when you're a kid and you're a little bitty baby and you have to try and walk, you know, you go from crawling to walking. Yeah, I had to relearn how to walk. And that was really hard for me because my entire right side was like a horse. It was galloping, basically. I couldn't control it. So my left leg was great. It was normal. But my right side would come up all the time when I was walking on the walker because it was still trying to think about it. I couldn't control anything. So PT really helped me with walking and with the coordination and the balance. OT helped me with taking a simple shower because when I was in ICU, I couldn't take a shower. For 7 days, I couldn't take a shower because I didn't know how. I couldn't. So OT showed me how to do, how to shower, how to brush my teeth, how to get my clothes on, how to get my shoes on, all that great stuff. And that was challenging. That was very frustrating because it's literally going from square one to basics all the way again. And for a 28-year-old, that's hard. And that's very frustrating because you know exactly what you need to do, but you can't do it at all. You want to tie your shoes, but you can't. You want to walk, but you can't. You just can't. And that was so frustrating. So after OT, speech, PT, that usually happened in the morning. Throughout the day, I would just sit and watch TV because that's all I could do. But in the afternoon, Mom and Dad would come. They would visit me, and they would take me out in the wheelchair. And that was the greatest thing ever because just sitting in the sun, like being outside, was absolutely amazing. I'd watch the cars and just, you know, bask